If you let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. It's Hopper from A Bug's Life. Power in number, fear is control, the threat of unity. And I also pulled investigation with gossip, slander, smear campaign, scary man, evil or bad intentions, aggressive, dangerous. I pulled black tourmaline, and then under the deck I pulled butterfly, pathological liar, and serious black. And unfortunately, the cable guy. So let's start with the Hopper. I pulled the King of Cups with the Six of Swords. So in the Bug's Life movie, Flint he's kind of the odd man out, right? He's the weird one, the inventive one, the one that's always trying to find quicker, more efficient ways, which usually ends up kind of biting him in the tail and kind of making things more difficult. But he is also the one that's willing to speak up when others won't. He goes against the grain. He's very, very, very off-putting to the masses because he's just so different in the way that he thinks. But because of his ability to kind of get this oddball group of people together, right? He's able to uplift the masses, convince them of their power, and eventually get everybody to go against the grasshoppers. And yeah, Hopper is very much like, no, you know, you're gonna keep feeding us because it's not about the food, it's about the power, right? You may have somebody that is very much the Hopper to your Flint, right? Does not like you being in a very grounded understanding, kind of seeing things for what they are, you know, reading through the lines and the bullshit. The King of Cups, that is the father of emotions. So a really good father, right? They may be nurturing, but not in the same way that a mother is, right? They're not going to come in and comfort you and, oh, my poor baby. Like, that's not a father. He's very much like, get up, you can do it. You can do it. Very daddy, right? Very like, I wouldn't do that, but if you're gonna do that, well, there's not much I can do, but here's the consequences, X, Y, and Z. So just as long as you know, that is very much the father. And then having the ability to have these boundaries of saying, this doesn't work for me, I'm just gonna dip out and leave, does not work for this Hopper energy. In fact, it does not work to the point that you may have had. Does it have to be a legal thing? Maybe, I don't know. It could just be that this is somebody that is willing to meddle in areas where they shouldn't, dig through things that they shouldn't, getting himself wrapped up in things that he shouldn't in order to, pry and spy and be a sneak. With the gossip and slander smear campaign, this person probably lied a lot. They lied through omissions. With the pathological liar, that is somebody that compulsively tells complex, grand, or unnecessary lies without an obvious motive or benefit, right? So from the outside looking in, if they are not recognizing why somebody would be habitually lying, it may not seem like, oh, there's no motive here, it must be true. There's no reason for them to lie about it. It's because of this threat to their power, right? And the thing is these lies have been very habitual, persistent, self-serving, and for attention-seeking reasons. It's to pull the energy away from the reality. It's to try and keep this story going, so that way it hides the fact that this is actually a very scary man. This is somebody that is evil, bad intentions, aggressive, or dangerous. And then with the cable guy, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's from like 1996 with Jim Carrey. It's about a guy who meets this kooky cable man, right? And this guy's giving him free cable. He wants to be friends with him, and it becomes very uncomfortable for this other man. So he's like, actually, no, I don't want this. And so then he kind of goes off the deep end, right? Unwanted friendship, stalking, high-tech sabotage, manipulation attempts to destroy one's life due to perceived rejection or offense. So you probably rejected this Hopper energy, and ooh, hair standing up on end. He didn't like it, right? With the investigation, I did see the Three of Pentacles with the Temperance card. So it seems like he could have paid people, he could have manipulated people into doing things, but it's very much coming out that it's kind of being seen for what it is, right? This is called about being balanced, harmony, patience, moderation, right? It's really about just having faith that this group that is working behind the scenes, like, they're doing the right thing. I think people may be getting tired. I also pulled the Knight of Pentacles with the Devil. So it has patience on the card. The Knight of Pentacles, he's very slow in how he works, right? It's very methodical, it's very tedious, it's very, gotta really figure out, like, what's actually happening, digging through the mud, right? Very needle in a haystack kind of an energy. He takes his time, right? Even though it may be feeling like you're in this trapped, like, condensed, like, I can't move, I can't really do anything. It's all in your mind if that's where you're still sitting at. But I don't think it is, because I think you're very much in this black tourmaline energy, which is very grounded, right? It's absorbing negative energy, rolling with the punches, and you're very much in this Queen of Wands, Four of Swords energy, which is very, very just, you're passionate, you're feeling creative, you're getting back into the motions of things, and you're also just kind of in this place of rest, surrender, letting go, trusting that, you know, things are working out as they're supposed to. And I think the biggest reason why this scary man, this cable guy kind of man, this hopper kind of a man, is engaging in these energies is to block freedom. It's to cause fear, to make every single thing that you try and attempt to do seem like it's just going to fall apart. It's to make you feel like you can't trust people. It's to block freedom. It's to block forward movement, expansion, passion, and it's to keep you condensed, right? But you're very much a Sirius Black butterfly kind of an energy, right? So in the Harry Potter series, Sirius Black, he got accused of all of his friends, right? He betrayed all of his friends. He was completely lied on by Peter Pettigrew, who then turned into a rat and hid the entire time. He could have came out and told the truth, but he didn't. And it wasn't until much later that it came out, like, oh, he was actually lied on, right? And then with the butterfly energy, this is transformation, rebirth, journey of the soul, hope, and freedom. So again, freedom, 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 freedom. This is about freedom. Yeah, it's gonna work out because you've stayed patient. You're in this very grounded Queen of Wands, Four of Swords kind of energy. It's going to work out, and you know, it may be kind of leaning towards the I don't want to put that out there, that's none of my business, but Ten of Pentacles is happy home, you know, emotionally fulfilled, financially fulfilled. Again, you don't need to worry, right? You don't need to worry. The worries are behind you. You are now in a very gratitude attitude, right? Very much content. Even if you may not have everything in terms of like what one would deem as like abundance, you recognize that abundance is a mindset. It's not necessarily what you have. It's how you choose to be happy in the present and where you are with what you have. Queen of Swords. You are in your power. You are discerning. You are decisive. You only seek the truth, right? And then with her in the Rider-Waite, when she's holding the sword, you're aware, right? Come at you with the bullshit. Good luck. Ignore the man behind the curtain.